This is the Marketing Boss Podcast, where today's top marketing professionals reveal their best tips, tools, and strategies, and we all become better leaders because of it. And here's your host, video marketing expert, Herschel Houghton.
Welcome to the show, Sarah. I'm so excited to have you here with us. Thanks for being with me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So wonderful to be talking with you, Herschel.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm so excited to be talking to you. I know we've talked before a couple times, but let's share with the listeners a little bit about you and how you came to choose a career in marketing.
You bet. So I actually found my way into marketing through college. I didn't quite know exactly what I wanted to do, but I decided maybe just a general education in business administration might be the way to go. But I quickly realized how much math was involved with that. So in speaking with one of my academic advisors, it seemed the course of least resistance was marketing. So I actually fell into it a little bit by accident, but very much had always enjoyed being creative and innovative. So it actually turned out to be for the best. And I don't know that I could have done it better had I actually planned it. So that's how I kind of landed here. I've kind of found myself in a niche world of restaurant marketing specifically, which I kind of fell into as well. So it's been a really interesting experience, just kind of being open to wherever the universe was guiding me, and it just sort of landed here.
That's amazing. And so I know that, of course, in the intro, I spoke to, your experience as the Senior Director of Marketing with Kahala Brands and overseeing
Correct.
Cold Stone, Great Steak, all these different brands. How long have you, what was your experience in partnering and coming on board with them? Because that's a great position, I'm sure, and a lot of fun with Cold Stone. I mean, it's ice cream and all the goody stuff.
What's not to love, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a terrible job. No, I love it. We have a great time. What's not fun about food and specifically ice cream? So actually, my prior company was with a restaurant group, and I feel the restaurant industry, most like many industries, you find that they're actually rather small once you start getting involved. So I've kind of stuck with a core group of colleagues and found my way over here to Kahala Brands, where I started on the Blimpie brand. We run pretty lean over here, so it's actually really wonderful experience because that enables our team to be able to work on multiple brands at a time. Mm-hmm. So there's no one day that's the same. But we get to have a lot of fun over here, taste testing new flavors and coming up with fun campaigns. So it's truly a gift. We have a good time around here.
Wow. That has to be so much fun. I can only imagine. I mean, like you said, with so many brands that you represent, you definitely get to, I don't know, just the versatility that's there. Every day is not the same, and that's got to be a lot of fun.
You bet. And it's also really wonderful to be able to take key learnings from different brands back to other brands. And it's really wonderful to be able to grow in the brands and marketing strategies by leveraging lessons learned in other areas of the business.
Definitely. Well, let's jump right into that. Can you share maybe one of the key lessons that stood out to you from having worked with these different brands?
Oh, gladly, yes. So I think one of the bigger lessons that we've learned is just because something works with one brand doesn't mean it's going to exactly work for the other, but there's some underlying tones that you can leverage. So, for example, we do so we believe that our brands are the most premium brands in their category. We believe that Cold Stone does ice cream better than everyone else. We believe that Blimpie does sub sandwiches better than everyone else. We also believe in freshness. So we make our ice cream every single day in every single store. There are no trucks shipping it in. The crew members are actually making it in the back of the house. And we also hang our hat on customization. So you can walk into a Blimpie and get a sandwich however you want it, or you can walk into Cold Stone and get a creation or a shake however you want it. And so with that comes this kind of level of sort of create your own, and how you set that up for a customer in a way that makes sense to them, in a way that builds your brand and makes you marketable to a larger base of customers. Mm-hmm. But then within each of all of those brands, there's obviously a different demographic and a different comprehension level. And so we can certainly take those key lessons and take them across brands and have those underlying tones of potentially, a create your own. But every brand's going to have to actually execute that a little bit differently. They're going to have to set it up in terms of the marketing and communication a little bit differently. So that's obviously a larger high level example, all the way down to smaller key lessons in terms of, offer types. Is a dollar off motivating to our customer, or is it a percentage off that's motivating to our customer? So we can kind of take, high level brand information and apply it across the portfolio of brands, or we can take some of that smaller level stuff to help kind of hone in on some local marketing opportunities. Absolutely.
I love that. And I love too the fact that you had mentioned that, we believe that we have premium brands that are better than others, and with that, of course, comes to mind, there's so many different options for choosing ice cream, or so many different options for a sub sandwich or what have you. What are the ways that you guys tend to stand out? I know this is kind of getting more into the meat of what I feel like you're really good at in terms of your expertise and what you've been able to do and accomplish in this space. But, just to intro that, like how do you stand out, among all the other brands that are, reaching for everyone's attention and dollars?
That's a great question. I think so. I'm going to actually just kind of focus on Cold Stone with this one.
Yes.
But I think the way we stand out as compared to our competitors is we are known for the ultimate ice cream experience. So that encompasses a couple different things. So that's the actual customer experience. So when you walk into a Cold Stone, we want that to be more than just ice cream. So that comes down to the entire experience from the moment you walk in our doors to the moment you leave. That might be a customer that leaves a tip and a crew member will sing for them. That might be a crew member tossing ice cream and catching it in a cup. That might be a small child peeking through the glass, watching their creation being mixed on the stone. Mm-hmm. So we believe that the experience is what sets us apart. But beyond that, as I mentioned just a few seconds ago, we believe we do ice cream better than everyone else. And so that means our crew members are actually trained to make ice cream in the store. So before the store even opens, crew members are getting to our restaurants to make fresh batches of ice cream. So it is truly as fresh as it could possibly be. It hasn't been sitting in a warehouse or on a truck. That also makes us really nimble in flavor profiles that might be popular seasonally. We can put those in our Gia, which is what the display case holding the ice cream is called, really very quickly. So I think with all of that said, that would be probably that's where we butter our bread. That's where we hang our hat, if you will.
And I love it. I mean, we do ice cream better. That even in that description is just very compelling, and there's already a differentiator there. Like just in that phrase, the experience behind it. So that truly is, I mean, that's an accomplishment. I think that speaks very much to the brand and what you guys have been able to build there. So that's awesome.
Well, thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm glad that comes across.
And I love Cold Stone. I mean, God knows, growing up, that experience that you have when you go there, you think it's a good day, I'm going to have fun. Or even if you're not having a good day, I'm going to go through and get picked up when I go to Cold Stone. I feel better when I leave,
That's wonderful. Well, and Cold Stone loves you, so I'm glad that there's fun memories there for you. That's exactly what we want to hear. Absolutely.
And I think that really also speaks to, again, how you're able to separate yourselves from other brands. So let's go a little bit deeper into, for the listeners and for those who also are marketing directors or, in those spaces, what kind of advice would you give them in terms of how to stand out, how to really, in essence, pay attention to what your competition is doing, if that is part of that, but what is it that you suggest that they should be looking at?
So I would suggest, I guess, kind of a three-prong approach there. So I guess let me sort of tee this up by saying discovery is so critical when it comes to marketing and advertising. I actually was listening to some of your prior podcasts, and I heard one of your prior interviews mention that discovery is the most neglected part of marketing, and I couldn't agree more. So it's just so critical when you kind of get into that discovery process. You find that your solutions will be far more relevant to the campaigns that you're introducing and the tools that you're providing to your clients, be that actual clients or be it owners within your system, whatever it might be. So I guess through that discovery process, consulting and research firms are probably the most obvious. There's plenty of those out there that exist for different industries. For my industry specifically within that restaurant and hospitality umbrella, we're kind of looking at Technomic and others. They just do such great work when it comes to qualitative and quantitative studies, focus groups, the reports that we all have access to are just top notch. They're incredibly beneficial. Even tuning into, just a high level state of the union, even if you don't have the time or the resources to drill down into more detailed studies, even that is just a good step out of the gates. Beyond that, vendor partners, it took me a little while into my career to realize that to utilize vendors as a resource. I think a lot of times they just kind of come to us as sort of vendors and, there to pitch ideas, but, to lean on them for intel. So it behooves them to share with us information that they know on trends or upselling patterns, because essentially at the end of the day, the more we sell, the more they sell. So to kind of leverage them as more than just a vendor, but rather as a partner and kind of grow in those spaces or that particular area of your business together. So for us, we lean on Coca-Cola for Cold Stone. We lean on American Express. We lean on News America, which I think many people know as the FSI Sunday coupon packets of newspapers. And then the third point to all of that is just independent research. So we utilize Google Alerts for all of our brands, but I think that part is obvious. The part that's maybe not so obvious on the Google Alert side is setting them up for your competitors and or setting them up for businesses that you think are doing well in your spaces. So if there's an organization out there that you just feel is hitting it out of the park in their advertising and marketing efforts, then set up a Google Alert for them too. The wheel has already been invented. I used to have a boss that would say there are no new ideas. So I think it's really important to understand not only what's going on within your industry, but within the market as a whole, in terms of marketing itself, and learn from what other people are doing, and sort of chisel away at it to make it fit within your area of business. So I would say, to recap here, consulting and research firms and their research vendor partners, leaning on them as an actual partner, and then just independent research and stuff that you can be doing with Google Alerts or even social spaces. What brand doesn't have some kind of social page now that you can be following?
Right, that is true. And it's great because, this three-prong approach that you mentioned, the picture that came to mind was just like you're having your finger on the pulse, of what is happening, not only in the hearts and the minds of your customers, but then going even further into what's happening with your competitors as well. Just keeping that and being aware of those things, I think, is really, really key. And and I love the practicality as well as the independent stuff that you can be doing. Checking with Google Alerts, getting on social media, checking out what they're doing on their pages and things like that. And even also, because right now, social media advertising is becoming more and more popular. And so I was just reading something about that today, in the sense that you could even like your competitor's page. And once you like it or maybe engage with their information, you'll be able to see what they're doing with their sponsored materials that they're putting out, as well as just what their messages and how they're engaging with their audiences as well. So I love that.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Truer words couldn't be spoken. It's a really great kind of time to be a marketer because there is so much that's so accessible, and with very little effort, you can really be in the know. Certainly you can drill down, of course, but if you don't have the budget or the resources to buy reports and things of that nature, there's still plenty of ways to get that intel in a way that's very affordable, or even free, like you're mentioning, in social spaces and liking brands and seeing their sponsored materials. You bet.
Absolutely. So this is really, really great information. I'm so happy that you've been able to kind of break those things down as you did. So as we kind of wrap up, I want to talk about just in general, I love asking these questions, but one in particular is, what do you see in the future for marketing? So let's say 5 years from now, what do you think are going to be the trends and the types of mediums and technology that's available, let's say, that would look different than it looks now?
Well, I feel like historically marketing has always been about meeting your customers where they are at. So back in the day, that was radio. Long ago, when people would gather around their radio, that is where advertisers were, because that's where their customers were. Mm-hmm. And then flash forward to present day, and potentially even 5 years into the future, I think that's still going to be applicable. We're still going to be meeting our customers. Depending on your demographics, that might mean implementing something regarding Pokemon Go, if that's relevant to your business. I don't think any of us have a crystal ball, so I don't know what's going to be the big hit and all the rage in 5 years. But wherever that is, I think, definitely marketers will be capitalizing on those opportunities. I think traditional media certainly still has its place. There's still a value in that for some brands. But I also think that where we're headed in the marketing world is capitalizing on meeting customers where they are at, which right now is on their phones and through the applications and tools that affords us.
Yeah, I love that. And, as everything is going mobile, I'm also starting to even see now this more personalized approach to how messages are being tailored to maybe your search activity, or, how if you're interested in this, then you'll see either advertisements or things mobile or on social or online that are in line with that. And I think it's going to get even more specific as well. And that's just to kind of piggyback off of what you're saying related to meeting your customers where they are. And I think that's even going to reflect what your behavior is online, and how the different messages will hit based on the type of activity that you do online. So I think that's awesome. And it's going to be, it's going to be crazy to see. I think it's going to get almost scary in terms of how we're able to market to people.
You bet. Yeah. I mean, we're getting to a place in life where we can get really drilled down. We no longer have to market and advertise to mass markets. We now have the ability to really dial it in. So, which is, you're right. It's scary, but it's also awesome.
Yes. I should have said awesome as well. Scary and awesome at the same time.
Yeah, you bet. Depending on what side of the fence you're on anyway.
Exactly. So I guess as we close up, what advice would you have for those who are listening? Again, most of our audience is people who are in marketing, or maybe they actually are business owners, VPs of marketing, directors, managers. What advice would you have for them that are listening today?
So I guess I would say, I actually heard this at a luncheon I attended. One of the VPs of marketing over at Fender, his name is Richard. He said, "You'll never be smart enough to have all of the good ideas." And that really hit home for me. So I guess my advice is to collaborate, both with your internal teams, with your customers, go through that discovery process. I mean, those are really incredibly powerful tools. And I think being humble enough to know you can't possibly come up with everything that's just be hit right out of the park. So to really cultivate your team, to collaborate with them, to hear what they're saying, listen, not to respond, but listen to understand. And I think if you can do all that, it's quite amazing what the universe will reveal to you, through your teams and through your colleagues and through your customers. So yeah, my advice would be to work with them, to listen to them, because we couldn't possibly ever have all the good ideas.
No, I love that. And it's almost like to hear that from you it's like a weight lifted.
Oh, good.
I mean, I would imagine, I felt that, and maybe some others will feel that too, but just the pressure that I feel like sometimes we have to be forced into certain ideas instead of letting them naturally come about as we interact, as we communicate, as we connect with the people that are around us, whether our team, our clients, customers. I think the more that we do that, it'll kind of lay out this path, like you just said, that will be very clear as to what the next steps are, and where those ideas can really come from. So I think that's awesome. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So where can people reach you if they want to get ice cream and stuff?
Well, ice cream can be available in any of the stores. We have World. Sara Schmillen, which is SCHMILLEN, and that's probably the best place to reach me.
Okay, awesome. And I'm so excited that you were here today. If I'm probably going to take a break here in the recording because it kind of scratched out there when you were mentioning that. So I'll just ask that question again. That's okay? Like where people can reach you?
You bet. And that's Sara Schmillen, SCHMILLEN.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Sara, for joining us today on The Marketing Boss. It was so great to have you on and to learn from you and your experience. I think you have definitely brightened our day, and it's certainly just been a pleasure. So thanks again.
Thanks for having me, Parshell. I always enjoy speaking with you, so I appreciate this opportunity.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks so much for listening to the Marketing Boss Podcast with your host, video marketing expert, Parshell Houghton. We'll catch you next time.